What's the saying? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Unfortunately, I'd taken that very road out of Sedona. And now I found myself in a deserted hospital with Gwen trying desperately to save Liam's life. The higher his fever went, the more it turned up the heat on me, on my decision to bring the boy along with us. It seemed like the right thing at the time, but it was a decision I started second-guessing 4 days ago, when Gwen diagnosed Liam with malaria.
I can bring down his fever, but we'll need an anti-malarial. Fast.
After striking out at a local pharmacy, we set a course for the nearest hospital in Williams, Arizona. The whole place had been stripped clean. Couldn't find a Band-Aid to save your life. Our only hope was one of the alternative medicines Gwen had read about.
I went as far as I could. And streets are starting to flood, and nothing but a vitamin store. I'll grab a few hours of sleep, then give it another go.
I knew the monsoon was coming. I could feel it. Figured a shortcut through the swamp would put us safely in Kingman before the storm hit. Couldn't stop thinking that if I just left Liam back in his house.
Doing the right thing sometimes turns out to be the wrong thing. But if your intentions are good, that's all that matters, Russell. Now, get some rest. You need it too.
I wanted to believe, Gwen. I really did. Last thing I needed was more emotional baggage to lug across the country. But rightly or wrongly, I'd taken responsibility for that boy. And the thought of losing him, it made me feel so damn helpless. I wasn't just crying for Liam. I was crying for Glenn Wilkins, and Edward Handley, and Ellen Murphy. Everyone I couldn't save along the way. Don't know how long I went on like that. Could have been a few minutes, could have been a few hours. I just remember slowly going numb.
Stop. You can't cry. That's what they want. To break us. You and me, Kofi. We must be strong. For the others, we must be strong.
I had no idea what was going on. Who that man was, or why he called me Kofi. But one thing was clear. The road to hell had taken an unexpected turn. Sometimes I wonder if setbacks are simply a test of our will, a way to separate those who merely accept reality from those who actually shape it with their actions. My present reality seemed completely unreal, but I knew I wasn't dreaming. Never actually smelled anything in my dreams before. Somehow, I'd gone to sleep in Arizona and woken up halfway across the world, in West Africa. It was as if my consciousness had jumped into the body of another man. But what really threw me was that I recognized the man I'd become. I'd seen him on Liam's wall. He was the portrait next to mine. This can't be happening.
Kofi, get a hold of yourself. The others will break if you don't.
His name was Ade, Kofi's best friend in the local Akan tribe. From what I could gather, Kofi had led a group of male Akans in a failed revolt against their oppressors, making them all political prisoners for going on a year now. I wanted to tell them that I wasn't their leader, Kofi, that there'd been some incredible cosmic mix-up, possibly tied to the EMP. I'd seen a mother and her son survive in New York, and 2 sisters in Amarillo. But a whole tribe of men? It seemed to contradict the very randomness that defined the disaster.
Where's our food? You can't do this. 3 days with nothing. This is torture.
Complain and you get none tomorrow.
That was your chance, Kofi. To win back the hearts of our men, to stand up for them, and still you do nothing?
Truth was, I felt paralyzed.
You are worthless, Kofi. You are not Takan. Stay away from us.
I didn't know what to do, didn't understand why I'd been banished to a prisoner's body more than 7,000 miles away from Seattle. What the hell had I done to deserve such a cruel twist of fate? Turned out, I was looking at the situation the wrong way. It was a setback to be sure, but it was also an opportunity. See, that clock wasn't moving. And since Ghana is 7 hours ahead of New York, that meant the clock stopped at 5:17, the exact time of the fall. Now I had the evidence I needed to enlighten everyone in the prison that the world had changed. And maybe that would be enough to change the prisoners' fates, too. We all must be judged, not by our words, but by our actions. And judging by my actions, I have failed my people. My words no longer hold power for them. Kofi himself had scrawled that months ago in a makeshift journal he kept hidden in his pillow. Reading Kofi's words brought his situation, my situation now, into full relief. The pages were actually a long-standing water rights treaty between two rival tribes, the Akan and the Ewe. Potable water is vital to survival in Ghana, and the Ewe broke the treaty, claiming the Akan's water supply when their own became polluted.
Go! Be gone! This lake is ours now!
Unbeknownst to Kofi, the chief was under the thumb of Ewan warlords and jailed the Akans for unlawful assembly. That was almost a year ago. I knew that in trying to explain the fall to the others, I had a lot to overcome. Kofi's credibility with them was running on empty. But in that prison, nothing had really changed. Time and electricity meant nothing to them anymore. So I tried a different tack.
Look around. Every day it's the same guard. Every day we see no one else. No visitors, no magistrates. Why? Because there is no one else.
Don't listen to him. If things are like you say, why has Ola not told us? Why carry on such a charade?
That was the one question I couldn't answer.
What did you tell us, Kofi? That justice was a river, it could not be stopped. Now you tell us justice is dead, along with most of the world?
Justice is not dead. It lives, but only if we don't give up. And that is your problem, Ade. You have surrendered.
Who started this? Okay, then you both get solitary.
No. I started it.
It was a risky move, getting myself deliberately taken to solitary confinement. But as Kofi said, his words no longer held power with his men. If he was going to deliver the justice he'd promised, it had to come through actions. Looking back, I was gambling another man's freedom, not to mention my own. I knew I'd only have one quick chance to turn the tables on my captor, and I was betting on a pattern I'd noticed with Ola. The handful of times he'd come to our cell, it always took him a few seconds to find the right key. Also, he never kept his gun holster snapped.
Stop! Don't kill me, please. I beg of you.
Ola insisted he wasn't a bad man, that he could have just let all the prisoners die after the fall.
But I took care of them. I brought them food and water, much as I could. When the planet shook off its people, my tribe was gone. I was the only heir left. How can I let the Akan go? I am their enemy. Surely they will kill me.
After I explained everything to the others, I told them I'd only let them out if they would not harm Ola.
A year of our lives he's taken. How can we ever forget that?
I told them we shouldn't forget. We should remember the pain and suffering and let it be a reminder to forget instead the politics of the past. Still, Ola would not leave. To him, the fall was a nightmare from which he couldn't escape. To the Akans, the fall was a miracle. Kofi's words had finally come true. Justice was a river, all right, with enough potable water for everyone.
Thank you, my friend, for not giving up on us, even when I gave up on you.
When we returned to the Akan village, I finally learned why Kofi was their leader. He was their medicine man. So when I saw the village reunited, it gave me a profound sense of accomplishment. But it also raised some unsettling questions, like how this Akan village could survive when their A1 rivals didn't. What was the connection between those who survived? And what was the connection between Kofi and I? When I awoke back in Arizona, I was in a nursery. The monsoon was still raging. This time, it wasn't the smells that said it was real. It was my journal. The writing wasn't mine, but Kofi's. He'd found a way to save Liam. The fall exposed our dependence on technology, but it also revealed our reliance on modern medicine. Fortunately, during his brief but eventful stay in my body, Kofi prescribed a natural cure in my journal to save Liam. All I had to do now was muster the will to make it back to the hospital. In Ghana, where malaria is common, medicine men like Kofi dry the bark of the cinchona tree, then grind it into powder and mix it with a liquid. The secret ingredient in the bark, an alkaloid called quinine, eventually brought Liam back to us.
Where'd I go? Where am I?
You're safe, Liam. I'm here with you.
No, don't leave me. Don't leave.
I'm not leaving you, Liam. I promise.
A week or so, he'll be all right. You, on the other hand, are just begging for pneumonia.
Gwen couldn't believe I'd gone out in that weather. But what really had her scratching her head was the remedy.
You came to me last night, woke me up, said you were off to find a nursery. It was so odd. I assumed it had to be a dream.
Maybe it was. I don't know. Can't really explain what happened.
We got lucky this time, Russell. But let me ask you this. Would you rely on something unexplainable to keep Kizzy safe?
Gwen liked to hit me with a hard rhetorical question before floating an idea she knew I'd resist.
I would have mentioned this a few days ago when I saw the flyer, but...
No, absolutely not.
Liam's father let him down, and I wasn't going to do the same thing. But honestly, my reasons were partly selfish. I felt like some of Liam's powers had rubbed off on me, and I wasn't quite ready to let that go. The boy had obviously opened a psychic door between me and Kofi. I believe it was my need to save Liam that sent me to Ghana, and it was Kofi's need to free his people that brought him here. We needed each other to solve our problems. That was our connection. And I had a sense that same psychic connection I made with Kofi could be made with any survivor on Earth. Question was, did I need Liam to access this psychic power? That's why I say my reasons for keeping the boy were partly selfish. But I was about to find out that I needed Liam for much more practical reasons. That boy was going to save my life soon.